Greetings to all, and welcome to Season 3, Episode 6, I think, of Cigar Marvels, A Talk for Two. Today's guest, I know nothing about. Well, I know some things about, but, what better way to get to know somebody than diving deep for 2 hours in a public venue? That's my motto, anyway. Ladies and gentlemen, my name's Vic. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing quite well. Just going to adjust some volume levels on the fly here because I'm totally prepared for this evening. I was not scarfing down dinner in about 3 minutes prior to going live. How dare you?
Yeah, no, not at all.
How
not
dare
at
you?
all. Completely prepared. Absolutely.
Streaming. You're a streamer. I'm a streamer.
Yeah, wow, we stream.
We do. Yes. I was told there was a deliberate choice of wig.
Yes.
I do like also with the Pokemon shirt, kind of given those. It's a good hair choice shirt combo, I think.
Yeah, whenever I wear this shirt, I always want to have orange hair because then I'm like Misty.
Right.
Get super pumped. I was singing the Pokemon theme song before we started. Getting really ready.
What is your favorite Pokemon song, actually?
Ooh.
There's a couple. There's the theme song, which it's a banger. But
yeah, it's
you
banger.
You got the
it's
Pokemon rap in there. You got, I think, even Weird Al. He did a Pokemon cover.
There's also like Brother My Brother, the song with like Pikachu. Right. That's emotional. And depends what you're feeling, right?
Each of the legendary Pokemon movies, I think, has its own song as well.
So. I'm pretty much like Pokemon should have had just 150. I like the
agree.
Original
Pokemon. Once
151.
Once they released Klefki, I was like, okay, I think you guys have. That was it. That's when it was pretty undeniable that they had lost the sight at that point. Once you're throwing out Klefkis and sandcastles, I mean, you've gone a bridge too far, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they took it too far. But
let's get controversial right out of the gate, actually, if we could. Pokemon mascot, Eevee over Pikachu. Tell me I'm not alone.
So Pikachu's like my best friend.
Wow.
Oh. But I like, like that's the vibe. Like you care about Pikachu. You've been on this journey with Pikachu, but Eevee can be 9 different Pokemon. Like,
right. You could literally have a different Eevee for each holiday, each occasion. I just feel like it was molded for mascot and it got snubbed.
And that's why I wonder, like the new Pokemon Go kind of thing. Well, I say new, but like the Switch one, it was Pikachu and it was Eevee.
Yeah, they were like nodding, right?
Yeah, they're like, oh, maybe Eevee's really good. Eevee's cute though.
Well, the other argument being that the evolutions of Eevee are actually useful. I have never been in a situation where I was like, damn, wish I had a Raichu right now. I have never been in that situation.
Yeah, I don't like evolving my Pikachu either. Gotta keep it Pikachu, keep it classic.
So 151, red, blue. Not even gonna entertain any other colors. We're gonna just cut it off right at red, blue.
Yeah. Well, isn't green still a part of 151?
Is it? I thought it was just red and blue.
I think so.
Maybe green's in there.
Green was a Japanese release, so it never came to.
Okay. Not yellow.
Yellow's also
yellow in there
151, I think. But it's leaf green.
Right.
I never played it, but I was aware of it. Bulbasaur was the,
Right.
Well, red, blue, and green. It makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And then yellow got in there
somehow.
Kind of like the Lost. I think it's the same thing with like Final Fantasies and then the Lost Levels, Mario, right? There's always better Japanese versions, and they're like, yeah, I don't think the Americans are smart enough / good enough to do these games. I think we'll just give them the dumb ones.
Yeah, that's it.
So yeah, well, We survived that one. I think at this point we could survive anything. If we can agree to
I know.
disagree on Pikachu Eevee, I think we can agree to disagree on anything, really.
Yeah, that's true.
Um,
That's true.
Streaming though, we were trying to talk about streaming.
We were thinking about talking about streaming.
Yeah, streaming full time. That's a thing you do,
Yeah,
and that's a
that's
thing I do. We should talk about that.
yeah, common ground.
What
Yeah.
what's it been like, and what does it look like going forward where you are at?
So, like, my past week, because we chatted a week ago, has been kind of crazy. It went from I stream full time to now I have a job that I start tomorrow.
Right.
So that's new. So I guess I have to figure out what I plan on streaming still 5 days. I'm not gonna give that
Mm-hmm,
up, but
mm-hmm.
they're gonna be different times. It's the transition period. But I was streaming up to 7 days.
Okay.
Um, but then I realized like I was starting to lose my marbles. And then
Hmm.
I would push it back to 5. I was trying to put out YouTube content, push that back to nothing in the end because I just realized like even though it seems like it's just like, oh, you're only here 6 hours, it's like, well, I have the hour after stream
Mm-hmm.
where I'm doing something, there's emotes, trying to make merch, doing that, like,
Yeah.
or even just like networking, like trying to be
There's a lot of
present
upkeep. A
on
lot of
Twitch.
upkeep, for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely,
I
and it
agree.
just became too much, and I ended up not in, like, right now, I feel like I'm really enjoying it. There was a period of time where I was like starting to be like upset. And
Right. Right.
like I
Right.
know, and like anxiety started coming back. I was trying with depression a bit. I still deal with those things, but like now I feel like I'm getting something like very consistent with work. Gonna have a schedule. Gonna write things down. So that's kind of where I'm at now.
I hear you. I'm actually coming off of 7 days a week this season, so we're going to be trimming
Yeah.
back Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays a little bit. And
Mhm.
been 7 days a week since July, so it was actually no, it was July a year and a half ago. So it's more than a year now. That's how
Yeah.
little time has remained and constant in my brain. Time has lost all meaning when you're streaming 7 days a
Yeah.
week. It's just every day after every day. So
I'd say like my affiliation is like 11 months right now,
hmm
and I think that those 11 months, that's when I started streaming marbles. They all have melded together into
nice.
this. Like, I don't even realize how much time has gone. I don't even know.
Makes sense. Makes sense. I can definitely relate.
Yeah.
I will say, YouTube is one of those things you have to stay ahead of if you're going to do it while streaming full time, for sure. Um, I knew I was going to have a backlog coming back from vacation,
Yeah.
but good lord, getting through the backlog is a nightmare. It didn't help that I was trying
Yeah.
to build a 1 hour track at the same time, but uh,
Yeah.
it's one of those things you just gotta, if you're gonna do it, you always have to have videos in the can. You want to be waiting to upload things, not trying to catch up to upload things. So
Yeah.
it's a tricky beast for sure.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
What content were you doing to YouTube? Just highlights or small stuff? Or?
No, completely different than Twitch. So
Ooh.
unique content. I had, let's say, like I had one where I got talked about mystery boxes, looked at other people unboxing their mystery boxes from the dark web. So like
Oh, like
learned
actual
about
mystery
that.
boxes where you have to
Yeah,
like wear
yeah.
gloves and a mask to open.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
watch some of those videos
yeah,
that maybe, but I used the like most extreme ones that were like definitely fake. And then
right,
I got my own mystery box, and like so I had this giant box like on my bed, and I was throwing things, and powder like flour went everywhere, and it was like it was funny. It was meant to be funny.
right, right, right.
But so I did that. I think I put out maybe 12 videos, but at that time I was filming in a day,
hmm
editing in a process of like 3 days, and then be done that the day before, if not the day I was posting.
Right.
And I did that for like what, maybe like 8 weeks, maybe not 12.
It's a good one.
It was intense.
Sounds like it. I've done
Yeah.
a couple weekly YouTube series, and that's always it's an interesting endeavor because you get into those situations where you're much better at it when you're at the end of it than at the beginning of it, and then you just want to do the whole thing over again because you've learned so much. You're like, damn, I need
Yeah.
to do this again and do it right.
Yeah. I found it like, this is dipping into questions for you. I found it quite emotional because editing for me was really emotional. Like
Yes,
seeing myself,
you're
seeing how I
dissecting your
move, how I
performance.
act,
Yeah,
how I look, are
yeah,
my clothes like not flattering? Am I
right.
stuttering? Am I not talking? I was trying to make very like fast-paced videos.
Hmm.
So in that case, it's not even like, oh, so we're gonna do this and this. It's like, hey guys, like really quick paced, fast content,
Right,
fast words,
right.
and my brain doesn't always work that way.
Hmm. 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 Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I've learned. I generally like to keep action going in real time, um, but in situations where I know I'm going to be creating a highlight video, I actually need to like remind myself to pause before and after moments so that I can cut it. Otherwise, I have to like cut like half a syllable right before it starts and then half a syllable right after it starts, and it's really awkward trying to like
Yeah.
piece these things together without having these run-on moments that bleed into each other. So there's that.
Like
There's always that learning
if
of
I was
dissecting yourself.
repeating something, of
Mm-hmm.
like I said, oh, this is awesome. But I was like, I already know that doesn't sound hype. So I'm like, I know I have to like pause,
Right.
wait, and then that is awesome.
Right. 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 Yeah.
like,
You gotta
like,
take two.
yeah,
As
take
they
two,
say in the
let's
business,
go.
take two. So it's always good. But yeah, that dissection of yourself, though, I think, especially for streaming, is very important. Even if you don't ever plan on uploading videos, I think if you're a streamer, it would be good for everyone to just take a stream and try to make a highlight video out of it. Like
Mm,
get it, cut it down to 10 minutes,
yeah.
and you'll just learn a lot about performance in that
Hmm.
process.
Yeah. I think even just watching your VODs here and there
Hmm.
is
Hmm.
important. I
For
know,
sure.
like, especially when I started, like, that was, again, emotional,
Hmm.
but, like, it was so important because I realized, like, hey, like, I have one VOD and I'm, like, down here. I'm like, okay, that doesn't really work. I think I still gonna have the
Yep. Yep.
camera. How did I go the full day like that?
It happens when I'm really into tilting. I'll get down to here, and then I'll look at my feed. It'll be like, oh, I need to like sit back up again.
I always
So
have my, like, knee somewhere.
I'm a full proponent of half crouch and full crouch on stream. So no apologies required here. I am full
Yeah,
supporter of the
same
half
thing.
crouch and full crouch.
Yeah, it wasn't even a crouch. I just had the camera
Hmm.
just there. I don't know. That's how I wanted to frame myself that day.
It is what it is. It is
Yeah.
what it is. What would you say is the hardest thing to like critique about yourself?
Um, I don't like. I have, let's say, bad self-esteem. Like, see my face. I'm like I have good angles where I'm like, oh, this is cute.
Mm.
Other angles, I'm like, oh, I kind of look like a dude. I'm like, so that emotion, I guess.
Hmm.
I
Hmm.
also get like, I have a lisp, and sometimes that comes out a lot more, and I'm
Hmm.
self-conscious about my voice or how I act. And it's like almost like back in high school. Like in elementary school, I was quite unpopular, and then high school, I went to one where no one knew me, reinvented myself,
Hmm.
and during that time, it's a lot of self-reflection. Like, oh, what am I doing that's annoying or like weird or like,
Yeah.
and I really analyzing that, and it's like I see myself, and I'm like, wow, that's really annoying. Like, I wouldn't watch it. Oh,
Yeah.
but
I I would not be happy watching back my high school self. I was a very differently structured person back then. But
yeah.
I think as far as like critiquing yourself, watching yourself back, I think for me it's mostly vocal. Being a singer my entire life, I'm very
Mm,
attuned to how things sound and how I want them to sound.
yeah.
Um, so I've always been pretty good with making comedic faces and things like that. So I've never been too worried about looking like a clown because it's kind of my shtick. So that's never been really a worry on my plate. If anything, I'll be like, man, I need to be more expressive with my face. We need to amp this up.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, that's also the worst thing when you realize like, oh, hey, I'm not like smiling
mhm.
enough. But that's another thing. Or like I have like resting like depressed face. Like it's just as soon as I'm tired, like that
Yes,
seeing
yes,
that,
I
I'm like,
can.
oh no.
I've done a couple tired streams recently, and I know I'm like, man, and no one wants to watch this, but we're doing it anyway.
Yeah.
But
This is what you get. If you want to see me, this is it.
mhm, mhm. And I think it's a good rapport to have with your audience too. Is you don't want to just be a fake smile every moment of every stream. You kind of want to be able to be a human being from time to time.
Yeah. Recently did a no cam stream because I was
Mm-hmm.
just having like
Yeah,
probably the like it was a very low day, but I still wanted to be
right.
like I like streaming,
Yeah.
but I was just having a really low day and I did no cam. I did have my mic on, but I didn't want to do my makeup. I stayed in pajamas. I was like, no, this is just what we're doing. And I tilted actually all day because I
Mm-hmm.
needed something more than just racing.
Something to
Like it
take your
would,
mind off of things.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, and that was actually taken quite well. I had people chatting the whole time. No cam tilts. Yeah. Yeah, it was good. And people seem to like appreciate that I was open to tell them like what I'm actually feeling and
Hmm.
um, what's going on.
I agree. I agree.
Mm.
I do actually struggle with that a little bit because I generally don't like talking about how I feel because I generally don't
Mm.
feel well.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
it's sometimes you just wish you could a little bit. Just be like, I just need to tell it like it is
Mm.
for a minute. Like I'm not doing well and it sucks. You know.
Yeah. Well, like I like how I kind of my idea or how like I structured my channel. Like I wanted it to be a place for people to hang out and have a good time. So like I try not to get too far into politics all the time.
Right.
Like a place to have a good time, escape that stuff, happy time. So also I avoided talking about my feelings for a long time.
Hmm.
And then I realized like no, like this isn't just a happy place. This is a place to hang out. Like
Hmm.
you want to hang out with your friends and be able to tell them the truth, not just be like, "Hey, I'm
Right.
this person that you see."
I definitely agree with that. Um,
Mm,
so the job, you said you were getting a job. I've been
got a
juggling
job.
that fun run forever. When
Yeah.
I decided to go full time streaming, um, I quit the job I had, and the idea I went into was I could do part time, like 4 hours a day, either first thing in the morning or last thing at night, like a night shift.
Mm,
And that supplemented with the Twitch income would be enough.
hmm.
And it's difficult to let yourself do it because, especially in America at least, it's very hard to have those kind of boundaries in a work life. But
Mm,
I'm very upfront when I apply for jobs and everything. Like I tell them right out of the gate, like this is not my career. This is me
hmm.
supplementing my income from streaming, and that's all I'm here for. So I will get the job done, but I am not looking to climb any ladders. I am not looking to do anything. I am here to do this for this rate of money for this amount of time because that's what I can afford to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people would be uncomfortable trying to go into a job like that, understandably. But I think people would be surprised how just having that understanding
Yeah.
just actually makes it easier. Because then I can say, like, hey, I need to take off 2 weeks from next Friday. And they're like, what do you got? It's like, well, I have a huge 12-hour event going and a sponsored stream going up. And they're like, oh, okay. Like, they get it because they knew that they are second, not first.
That was actually something I do. Do your boss is people, do they know that you stream? Like, do they know your name, Chen's TV? Like,
Um,
have they checked you out?
it depends on the people. So usually the bosses just want to like understand it
Mm,
because most of the time like they hear about people who have online jobs but don't know anyone. So it's kind of like that,
yeah,
oh, you do that. How does that work?
yeah.
And then you have the whole juggling act of like, okay, let me find a stream that they can watch that like let me find a highlight video that's not going to be too deep of a dive that they're just lost, but also doesn't just have me saying, leprechaun orgies and other famous quotes of mine that I've had in the past.
Oh, yeah. Like,
So
uh,
it's always a fun juggling act. But there's a couple videos that I kind of have like queued up now. Just like anytime someone who doesn't know what streaming is like, oh, well, these 3 videos would be perfect for you to watch.
I still don't have that back, back, like, response. It's like, oh, yeah, I work online. I'm like, what do you do? Like, oh, kind of. Have you heard of Twitch? Oh no, you haven't. I played video games, but usually just one game. It involves marbles. I'm like, oh, okay. Like,
I have a bit of a segue, at least with how I do my stream, because I can get them on like racing commentary, and so
mm,
like I tell them racing commentary, and they're like, oh, and then I can sometimes like navigate that further, but not horses, like marbles in a digital arena, because then there's no animal cruelty, and they're like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Like you can kind of like walk them along into the madness step by step.
see, I don't really shoutcast that often. Like, I
Hmm,
kind of
hmm.
sometimes say
Yeah.
like, "Oh, hey, you want?" Like, I try and like most of the time I'm talking
Right. Right.
opposed to shoutcasting. So it's like, oh, like when you play video games like with your friends like at their houses. It's like, yeah, it's like doing that but online, and I can't see them, but they can see me, and you make money from that. Yeah, a little.
Not as much as you think, which is why I'm here.
Yeah, yeah. Uh,
But yeah, so it is a weird juxtaposition, I think, kind of bridging
hmm,
those two gaps. But
yeah.
just have to not be afraid, you know? Don't live by fear. Living by fear is a
Mm.
bad way to live.
Yeah, I definitely did not tell this employer that I stream.
Mm.
It is housekeeping supervisor, but it is a management role. So
Mm.
part time, which I'm happy with, and it seems like it's gonna be like set hours or like set
Nice.
days, so I can
Yeah.
organize
That's the other
everything.
thing
But
too, is like being very clear like I'm not available on Fridays and Sundays. Sorry. Don't
yeah,
don't call me. I won't even answer the phone. It's like these are not days I will be working. So yeah,
if
it's
you need
it's
me,
tough,
text
but
me.
if you get it right, it works out really well at least from my
Yeah.
experience. That might be coming from a place of privilege, but
Mm. This place is like right next to, like, door to me too.
mm,
Like, I could probably, like, it's 10-minute walk, so drive like 2 minutes, which is super handy. So things like getting there doesn't take up my time. I don't have to think like, okay, I'm gonna work 4 hours. I
yeah,
have to drive
yeah,
an hour there, an hour back. Like,
yeah.
that's a 6 hour job.
Commutes
This
can
is
be
like,
brutal.
I'm there,
Yeah.
done.
There was a time when I was doing computer shop repair,
Mm.
and I was the one in charge of opening the store first thing in the morning for everyone, and then I had to cash everything out at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So it was always like, we're open from 9 to 4, but you need to be here at 8, and you won't leave until 4:30, 5 o'clock, and you have to drive 45 minutes to get there and get back. So my 8-hour day very quickly became, 12-hour days.
Yeah.
It's like,
Commutes, they get
so,
you. Like, you
yeah.
don't think about it. You're like, oh, a 14 or 45-minute drive, that's not that long. And then, like, the day you hit traffic, or like the fact that that is time, you can't do
Right.
anything.
It's not like you
Like, you're
can, if you
commuting.
stop to go shopping on the way home, you're not saving 45 minutes. You're adding whatever time you're shopping to that 45 minutes.
Yeah, yeah. All of a sudden, you get back and it's like time to go to bed. Like,
Yep. Yep.
what did I do with my day? Like, I
Mm-hmm.
just worked. Yeah.
Good stuff. Any questions on your end in this realm of balancing stream and job, or streaming in general, or job in general?
How do you avoid burnout doing it though?
Whew. Well, as said, this season we're pulling back a little bit.
Yeah.
We were getting to that point, um,
Mm.
and I don't think it was so much burnout of having done it too long, because obviously if I can do
Mm.
it for over a year, I think I could sustain it for quite a while. But I think it's more content driven. So it was putting in the time, holding steady to the schedule, so that I could develop what was now successful.
Mm.
So I've kind of gotten to a point that it's like, okay, clearly we have things that are successful and things that are not successful. So we need to
Yeah.
reprioritize and put more time into the successful things. And the only way we can do that is to take out non-successful things, because we don't have any more time. So we just have to swap it out.
Yeah.
So at least for me, burnout, I don't think it's ever been an issue. Right now, it's a matter of priorities, so that I can
Mm.
devote what resources I have to the things that are working to make them bigger and
Yeah.
better. So it's self-awareness, really, as far as burnout goes. I'm a very bad
Yeah.
person to ask this question, by the way, because I'm not a human being. I've been
Yeah.
described as a robot. I've been described as a cyborg. Um,
So, like, how many hours of sleep do you get if you're a
it depends. It depends. If I get to bed before midnight, I can usually squeak in a good 6, 7 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Good
but
6.
plenty of 4-hour nights or less.
Yeah. I sleep 8 hours. Like, I'll know when I'll wake up because I will sleep 8 hours.
Yeah, usually, like a Saturday, if I know I don't have to be up for anything, like today, I could just
Mm.
conk out for a good 10 hours or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
but more often than not, because I wake up around the same time every day, it's like I'm going to be awake no matter what time
Yeah.
I go to bed. It's like I go to bed at 2, I can go to bed at 11. I'm still going to wake up at 7. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm awake. It's time to go. So, um, but yeah, it's really self-awareness, I think. Everyone has their own limits, everyone has their own capabilities,
Mm.
and that's what you need to build your schedule around. As long as your schedule is sustainable, you won't have burnout. So you just need to know
True.
what that is.
Yeah.
And being the freak that I am, apparently 7 days a week, perfectly sustainable with YouTube uploads and a part-time job.
Wild.
It's it's silly. It's silly.
Yeah.
So, what about you? What's your how do you stay motivated?
Like, like, the days I do take off, the extra days, I get messages on, like, Discord or something, be like, oh, like, this sucks. And, like,
Mm,
it's like I'm missing out on something, which is funny because I'm the
right,
one
right,
creating it, but
right.
I feel like the fear of missing out is so real. Like, I'm not there, but that means you're
Hmm.
not here, so then we don't get to do this thing,
Yep,
and
yep.
that's
I kind of experienced that on the receiving side because I have a pretty sizable following now, at least in my Discord, and there's always a couple people. Anytime I change something in the schedule, it's like a panic. It's like, oh my god, wait, what? What? So when is this happening? And it's like, just calm down. It's like, relax. It's gonna be okay. Like,
Yeah.
oh man. So
Your Discord's interesting because has I think like the least amount of channels out of any ones I've seen.
I try to keep it very concise.
Yeah.
There's a place for everything and everything in its place. Just the way I like
yeah.
it. So
Mine's a disaster. There's channels everywhere. It's as organized as I am, like my brain. So I think that
Hey,
I think it works.
Perfect representation. And actually,
Yeah.
the other thing too is like I'll have conditional channels, right? So I have right now there's the single light blues for the videos I'm going to be working on this season, which is just clips people submit, and there's also the builder invitational, which is only for the builder competition that I do. So having like specialized things and then just deleting them when I'm done with them, I think is a big part of it.
Oh yeah, I could not delete.
See, there's that FOMO again. It's that FOMO coming back at you.
Yeah. Like I had I had my first like official tournament. The theme it was my birthday, but the theme was orange.
Mm-hmm.
So I made like a place for people to post orange things, and then I also had like a floating orange on my green screen, which became the holy orange. So that space became the Church of Orange.
Okay.
That's still there.
Sometimes
people post in it.
Hey. Yeah, gotta keep it going.
Yeah. Keep the orange alive.
Good stuff.
So that's
yeah. Since we're kind of in that realm of social discourse, how do you approach like social media? Like what's your approach to that?
Instagram, I just essentially post posters or pictures of myself. The original idea was to have like one a day, but that's not gonna happen.
we all have that.
So like every 2 to 3, 4 days, I'll post a photo just like of my outfit, whatever, where I'm going. Maybe if I'm outside, actually, I'll take a photo. But most of them, it's just like right here. This is what you get because this is what I'm doing. And then my Twitter, I like events I'll post on them, but I try to keep my Twitter separate. Like I don't post like, oh, I'm going live now or like things like that. Twitter is, what did I say on my stream? I think it says random Vic thoughts. So if I think of anything, like, what are you thinking right now? And I'll tweet that.
Yeah.
So that's all over the shop. You never know.
That's kind of where I want to go with mine too, is getting in that habit, especially on Twitter, because I definitely have the bad habit of only remembering to tweet when I have something to promote, which does not make for a good Twitter account. So I always try to be better at that, but I continue to fail in just here's what's on my mind currently.
Yeah. So I'll I try. Also, I'm bad at tweeting. Like I just forget about it. But I try and just open it, and I'm like, just what am I thinking right now?
Right.
Or I'm I'll just sit at the computer am I even thinking right now? And then okay, that's a tweet. Done.
There you go. It works.
Yeah, it works. Cool. Gets the job done.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. A couple ways I could go with it. Any direction you want to go with this conversation? Or you just want to go completely different?
Take me where you want to go.
Open world sandbox games. What's your favorite?
Open world sandbox, like Minecraft?
Sure, that's a good one.
Because that would be it.
It's a good one. I actually just watched that A Brief History of Minecraft I forget which popular YouTuber it is, but it was like 13 minutes. And it just basically goes through every edition with
Oh
video and
wow.
screenshots and stuff. It's kind of fun,
So I
kind of going
I
back
had
through it all.
Minecraft like on. I started playing Minecraft because of PewDiePie. I'm gonna be the
Mm-hmm.
first with that. He has a Let's Play series. Well, his first one came out. Well, first recent one, I guess. And he had like a dog named Sven and like all these different characters that
Yep.
went on adventures. And like La Brita was a cat. They
Yep.
had Water Sheep, which was evil. They
Mm-hmm.
had the like that like all this stuff,
Yep.
and it had all this lore, and I was like, I want to play Minecraft. So then I got it on my Switch, which I played for maybe like a month, and I loved it. It was great. And then I was talking about that because he started a new series, and then people in my chat were like, I want to play Minecraft with you. I was like, okay, I guess I have to figure out how to make a server. They're like, yeah. So I did
Mm-hmm.
that. That's for the VIPs on my channel and myself, and I'm having a lot of fun.
Nice.
And I'm surprised also because it's always nerve wracking streaming a new game
Mm-hmm.
because you never know how people are going to take it, if you're going to be able
Correct.
to talk, how many people are going to like actually hang out, not just say hi and
Mm-hmm.
then leave. So that Minecraft actually went over really well. So I'm glad. That was a good impulsive decision.
Nice. Yeah. As a streamer, it's always scary changing the category. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, haven't done this category before, and you look
Yeah.
at the category as it is before you start streaming, and you're like, oh wow, this I got a long way to go on this one. Like, it's always that little hesitation before you do it.
I do like I've consistently like I did make the decision to switch to marbles like as my primary, but I did last season I kind of didn't do as much of it, but I tried to stream other games as well. And
Mm,
it's kind of testing the water, it's kind of just seeing who's gonna stay, what games do they like. But like I I I think it's important to keep the diversity up, even if you only stream one game, like primarily,
hmm
just because you never know what's gonna happen, you know?
Agreed. Agreed. It's good. I've been invited to several servers and hosted a couple myself,
Mm.
and definitely dependent on the people you're involved with, for sure.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest part, is making sure you have good people to do it with.
yeah. Like Fat Angel has been so epic. It started all Fat Angel wanted was an automatic chicken farm,
Mm-hmm.
which was not it's not humane. It's not humane. But
Very little in
then
Minecraft is.
yeah. And then Stretch he came on board, and like they're consistently playing, upgrading, and then some people only hop in like when they see that I'm on and they see that it's live, they're like, oh, I want to get into, which is cool. But like I have like two people consistently making improvements, and
hmm
that's super helpful. Like because they play more consistently than I can.
Right, right,
Because they can play Minecraft while they're watching marbles, but I can't
right,
play like stream marbles and play Minecraft. Like
right, right.
there's definitely a divide there. So that's good.
It kind of gives you a. I think at least for me it's a comfort. Like when I've hosted servers before, because I'll be able to like keep them up overnight and stuff like that, and I'll see like
Mm,
who's on while I'm just doing other stuff. And it's like I can't play
yeah,
Minecraft, but I can see what they're doing, and it's like, oh, that's nice. It's like comforting knowing that like something you're in control of is in good hands. I think.
yeah, yeah. I like that.
Yeah. Any interesting Minecraft stories that come to mind of entertaining value? Moments
Most
of.
of Minecraft, I'll decide I want to go somewhere.
Hmm,
Like I went west. Like that was all I wanted to do, go west.
yes.
And then I'll get into severe trouble. And then when I went west, I found a cat. So I made this cat follow me the way back home. Fat Angel came to save me because I ran out of food, had nothing to fight. It was nighttime, like bad things were happening. And this cat, so it kept like we had to cross water, but like the
Oh, yeah.
cat wasn't. It was, and then I'd die, of course, and then I'd have to go back and find the cat, and then the cat would like warp in once I got close enough, and then I'd go again, and then die again, and then again. That was a good
I know the
Fat
routine.
Angel.
I know the routine. It's not fun.
Yeah,
not
Fat Angel's like, this is why you don't go by yourself. Like,
Yeah.
oh my god.
I think in one of my
off.
YouTube series, I think it might have been the one I was hosting or the one my friend Grimlust was hosting, but I think there's 2 full episodes devoted to me going west, and I found a village, and then I wanted to make a highway from our base to the village. It was like a 2,000 coordinate highway, and I just like kind of
Nice.
archived the whole thing. It was a very fun video to work on.
I
So
think they're making a tunnel to the village. But all you need is a boat. This is what you need. You need a boat. You need to get the villagers in the boat, and then you just need 2. Then you just give them some potatoes. They'll have some alone time, and then you'll have make your own village.
you can make your own village. It's very nice.
Yeah, and then you keep them in a very humane,
Very humane.
like bunker.
Very
Very
humane.
humane. Very humane.
Full access
Bunker.
to outdoors and windows and
Well, there's like a window, but you make sure like the little table's there.
Yep.
So, because if they have a block there, they'll like go towards the because they think they can get out, but they can't. So they'll stay. So you can like line them up real nice.
Yeah.
In a humane manner.
Humane. Very humane.
Yeah. Workers' rights are important, and then you can make them do your farming and stuff. It's just
They are not, shall we say, the most efficient. They're not.
they are not.
They're not very efficient.
No. Sometimes you just need a lot. Yeah. Or some to work.
we just need more.
Just need more.
Any other open world sandbox games that capture, not even sandbox, maybe like Breath of the Wild or stuff like that too?
I
captures your
have Breath of the Wild on Switch, but I ended up not playing it that much. It's too hard.
There's some challenges in there for sure.
Yeah, I'm like I like how it looks, but it's like the like brain challenges, working things out, building. I was like, no, this is not where I need to be.
I mean, between Guardians and Centaurs, like it's just no thanks. No thanks.
Yeah. I like it's not really open world, but I do like The Sims.
Okay, that's sandboxy for sure.
I watch the only really gaming content that I watch on YouTube is sim content.
Okay.
I've followed like 6 different people, and I'm kind of obsessed with it. I don't have time to play it. I'm not good at building, but like with that, I'm like a fan of The Sims. Yeah, Golf with Friends. We were playing that for a while. That's not really sandbox, but it's a good game.
There's a really fun game that you can play with The Sims. I'm sure you know of it. What you do is you just get a patch and you read the patch notes of Sims out of context. And it is some of the strangest and funniest things. I'm trying to see if I can find a good Sim patch update. I can go right here, because like at this point there's so much stuff in The Sims, right, that it's all a very oddly specific out of context, and it just makes for very surreal comments. Let me see if I can find here.
So many bugs. Like I know, like their Santa Claus was like spawning too much.
Right.
It was like so he'd like spawn and you'd be like in the bathroom and like or like you'd be in like the club or something and Santa would disappear. Like what, Mr. Frost or something?
So here's what I've just found is child Sims will no longer forget they are in sleepwear when they go to school.
Yeah.
Resizing objects will no longer disappear, which is always good.
Yeah, always good.
Let's see. You can now no longer force children and toddlers to clean up kitchens and bathrooms.
Yeah, that's a sad patch. That was
Male Sims will no longer get pregnant after receiving calls from NPCs.
yeah.
They're always completely out of the walls. I love it. Sims can now shower in the rain. Lovely.
Beautiful.
Good stuff.
Well, hey, there's this like challenge called Rags to Riches. So you start your sim with $0, like nothing, no house, no money, just a sim living in the world. So you like have to go first around and like you find like artifacts like once they spawn, start selling them. So like when you play something like that, you'll start off like having to like you'll just build a toilet. You can't afford walls. Not that time. So showering in the rain would be very helpful.
Right.
In that case.
And then like you could wait for a newspaper and then get a job from the newspaper, but then you need to clean and sleep at points. So then you have to figure out what you have to buy on a super restricted budget.
Yeah. Or there's the 100 baby challenge. This takes like a long time. Like one person, this was slower, but it took her like 3 years to finish it. Lil Simsy, so you have it's a legacy. So like you'll have like one sim can't have 100 babies.
That's what I was going to ask. Is like, is the challenge like, to have 100 before they age to death, or?
Yeah, that like they'll die, and then your last baby will become your last female baby will become the next.
It's like your champion.
yeah, your champion. But there's rules in that include like you can't have a job. Your job is looking after your kids.
Right.
So like you have to like you'll meet a guy, try and have babies right away. Matriarch, yeah. Just like get going and then hope for triplets, which are a pain to take care of. Like when they're babies, you're just like walking back and forth trying to feed them all. And if you mess up, they will take your baby away. So like you need to take care of them. But and then there's like rules like they have to get straight A's before they can age up the next level, or like so there's all these like rules. But then with that you'll build like most people build like a baby dungeon or a toddler dungeon.
Right.
So they can't get out because they'll run away. They'll cause havoc.
Exactly.
So you'll like imprison them, and like there was I don't know if you still can do it, but you would if you make a popcorn maker, they'll grab popcorn themselves. So you don't even have to feed them.
You just get a self-sustaining basement dungeon for children.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah. That's
Fat Angel coming in with the meta plays.
Yeah,
You got to make them smart so that they age faster, so they can get up to matriarch status faster.
Yeah. You gotta. And then you kick them out of the house. Lil Simsy did this thing. You can take like photos of your Sims. So like they would take like family photos before like sending them off. So she had like this like fame, like a walk of fame with all the pictures of all the kids that are now gone. And like people are always sad because like once you get to a certain age, like this uncle died, that uncle died. You haven't even met this person, but they died, and they're like they're depressed. You're like, never met Uncle Mark. Like, calm down. But
Yeah. Doing things the game did not intend, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Always a pastime of mine, actually. Making games do things they're not supposed to normally do. Looks like we are coming up to about the midpoint. Any last minute questions before we ditch relevancy to the topics at hand?
Nah, I like it.
Good. Well, in that case, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's time for the midstream mix-up! Yeah! Oh, we did it. We made it. Halfway there.
Yeah.
We got this. Strange coincidence beyond us streaming full time and having jobs and things. You at one point were cleaning things as a profession.
Yeah.
I too at one point was cleaning things as a profession. Would you like to share a cleaning horror story of your own, or would you like me to break the ice here?
I'll go. I'm ready. So I almost told this story on like yesterday. I don't know. I was like, wait, no.
Save it.
Save it. We're saving it. You didn't give a chance to find out. But it was this story involved like the standard like housekeeping, the standard knock. I always learned or taught like you do it twice and then you like get in. And then you go in. So like this is the story. So I go housekeeping. Hear nothing. I'm kind of talking to like my friend, my partner. Nothing. Housekeeping. And then you do like a really good listen.
Yeah.
Nothing. No sound.
No shuffling of feet. No opening of doors.
The doors are thick though, but you usually can hear something, like anything, or like, oh, did you hear something? Like something.
Yeah. Nothing.
Say yell housekeeping again, and as like the door opens, looking straight into a fully naked man. Fully naked. It's like, oh, and like kind of walking back at the same time, and it's like, oh, you can come in. And I was like, oh, no, no, and like slowly backed away. And then he kind of like looked down, and then you saw like the realization in his face that he was indeed fully naked. Maybe
this was not planned.
No, he was not aware. And that became very apparent.
Oh.
As we kind of like, were like, no, and like, so our shock, and then add his shock,
right? And
we just walked away. We didn't clean his room that day. We were just like, we need some time apart. Like I think we even like wrote it down. Like I at that time I was just a housekeeper, but I had to like I told like the supervisor what happened. I was like, you can send someone else there. And it's like, no, I think he'll understand that we're not going in there today. Yeah, I'm not going in there. But like that, there has been a case where like in boxers, like planned knocking, and people would just be like, "Hi," I'm like, what? They're like, "Yeah, you can clean here." Like, while you're sitting like this, you want me to like vacuum by you? Is that like what you're going for? It's not gonna happen. We're not doing it.
It's a weird choice, right? Like it's not exactly the profession you would go to for that kind of thing. I would think. Like generally you shouldn't be going for that with any profession except an actual like prostitute or someone. But like a room cleaner, they're not exactly anywhere near that mindset.
Yeah, like, and it's like all the time, like, no matter what time of year, you're like hot, sweaty, you're tired, you've done like a lot, and you're like,
you smell like bleach.
Yeah, you're like, why? Like, at this moment, why?
Strange world for sure. Strange world.
Yeah.
I did professional organizing. So I did a lot of businesses and things. But
Yeah.
on slower days, I would help out doing regular houses. And
Hmm.
oh my god. Okay, so it's this one house. I'm gonna do this as like anonymously as possible. Um, it says on like the info sheet, "Do not touch any of the dolls," which is always a great start to going into a stranger's home. And the info
Mm.
you're given is, "Do not touch any of the dolls." Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so we get to the house. It's just me and another cleaner.
Mm.
And we were kind of like a tag team duo because there were only two of us. Most crews were three, but we could get shit done.
Yeah. Nice.
So anytime there was like a problem house or a tough house, they was like, "Oh, send those two. They'll get it." Um, so we went in, and there are dolls everywhere. And like it's a business. Like to the side of the main room, there's like the laundry room, and there's a big table next to the washer and dryer, and there's like all these doll parts, and you can tell like she makes the dolls and
Yeah.
things. But I have had plenty of jobs. I was a produce manager. My house was not full of produce. I'll tell you that right now. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
like
Exactly.
so so there were dolls everywhere, and we did our best to clean without touching any of the dolls. And she has a basement that needs to be cleaned, but we have to wait because her husband has um basically just like stimuli sensitivity. Like any stimuli can't be too loud, can't be too bright, can't be moved too quickly. Like literally just any sensitivity. So um, she has to like go down and like prepare him, and he has like a towel over his face with a hat on to hold the towel in place so that we can turn the lights on, so that he doesn't like
Okay.
get overstimulated by the lights, so we can see what we're doing, so we can like vacuum and change the
Mm.
trash cans and everything. And it was just it's literally like right out of a horror story. Like we were coming up with the craziest narratives just like out of earshot. Like she's slowly poisoning him and like keeping him in the basement, and like the dolls are like the children she could never have or whatever and anything like that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And what really iced the cake at the end of it, we finished up, and before we left, she was like, "Do you guys want like tea and cookies or anything?" I was like, "No, we're good." And then she stopped the female coworker. I was like, "I have a doll that looks just like you," and she got it, and it looked just like her. And we were like, "We need to go."
Oh my God. Oh.
Like, she's gonna turn us into dolls. We need to run. Do not drink the tea. Do not drink the tea. It was, and then the worst part,
Oh God.
the worst part is like we it was a regular monthly cleaning, so we had to go back the next month, and
No.
she changed the shirt on the doll that looked like my coworker,
No. No. No.
and it was it was a jersey of a sports team, and it was the sports team of the hometown that the girl was from, and the girl never mentioned anything about where she came from.
No.
It was like, okay,
No.
we're never coming
No.
back
No.
here.
No. 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 No.
She's consuming your soul one detail at a time. Flee.
Do not drink the tea. Oh God.
It was
That's like has me like looking behind my back.
it was literally like right out of a horror story. Like I always wondered where all these like weird horror tropes came from. They're real. There are people that do these things.
Yeah.
They're not made up. These things actually happen in the real world. It's
That's
terrifying.
true. Yeah.
So
Yeah, and then like I've been in some sketchy situations, let's say, but like that's when you realize that like or like you make, oh, I'm gonna go out at night or like this or that or like nothing bad will happen, and then you're like actually in a super sketchy situation. For instance, I was going over to my friend's house and he lived in like a share house. But the share house, he got really cheap rent because it's actually like they live stream it like 24 hours
Mm-hmm.
So go over there. It's like, okay, it's cool. They said they kind of problem with the guy who like runs it or whatever. Like whatever. Went over there. And guy's like, hi. And we're just like, okay, go to his room, just gonna chill, go to bed, whatever. And then again, why does everyone on the door? And we're like, okay. Like we're not being like we were literally whispering.
Mm-hmm.
And then he opens up, he's like, you gotta go, man, you gotta go. I'm sick of this crap. Like going off. I'm like, I can't see him, but I can hear how angry he is. And he's like, okay, yeah, I'll move out tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Like, I'll grab my stuff tomorrow morning. Gone. I'm like, he's like, you better. I hate this. Like, just going off.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, like, that was really intense. Like, a couple hours later, when, like, we'd gone asleep. Again, bang, bang, bang. And this time, I, like, see him, and I realize he has an axe in his hand. And he's like, you need to go now. And we're like, yeah, okay, grabbing stuff, gonna go. So, like, started, like, just shoving things. And he's, like, standing in the door with his, like, an axe. And, so he, like, packed up everything very quickly. And then he went, like, to the main area, which was on camera being live streamed.
Nice.
Remember this.
Always good.
So with the axe in his hand, and he went kind of like stage center, I guess, but there was like a bar. He was like right there. And like I had half his stuff, and like he was finishing packing up stuff, but he was like yelling the whole time. So I'd like grab some stuff. He's like saying, get out. So I'm like, I'm getting out. Like I'll wait outside. Like I'm getting away from you. And as I'm walking, he threw the axe in my, I don't think at me, but it could have been. Like, he could have been a bad shot. But it, like, landed near me in the wall. Near enough. And I just, like, walked outside, and they had, like, a stone barrier. I was like, can't go through stones. Like, I'm gonna hide behind this, wait for my friend, and then get the out of here. So, like, I had like my phone ready, called like 911. I didn't know what to do. He came out like a second later, and we caught a cab. We're just like, take us to any hotel. They're like, what hotel is that? Anyone.
Just the nearest, cheapest thing you can find.
Yeah, anything. I don't even care. Like at that time, I had student loans. I was like, I'll pay $200. I don't care. I just need a hotel right now. And like then we like went on the live stream, reported it, and put in like a non-emergency police complaint. And then so went to school the next day, and like I was like not like everything kind of didn't click till I was in school, and they're like, it was art university, they're like, draw something about what happened last night. And so I start drawing, and then they're like, Vic, this looks pretty dark. I was like, yeah, it's because I got asked to leave. And then I just burst out crying. They're like, you need to go to counseling right now. I was like, yeah.
That's a good setup, though. That's a good one. You can't miss that opportunity. That was good.
Yeah, you had one shot, one opportunity, and I took it. But
good stuff. Did you ever figure out like why it happened, or?
I think he's just kind of lost it, you know. Like I think his mental stability wasn't quite there. But that doesn't mean you can throw axe.
No. No.
like,
nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I had a roommate that got arrested, actually. He had severe sensitivity, anger issue. Same kind of thing. Like, always complaining that things were too loud, even though we're, like, making no noise. And it's like, well, I gotta live, man. Like, I pay rent as much as you do. You know, I can hear you. This
that's the hard thing living with roommates. Like, one, you have to live. Two, you want to be respectful, but like, if you want to make coffee, you're gonna like blow the kettle. Like, you're gonna make sounds.
Yeah.
at times that are inconvenient, and
Yep.
that's just something you have to live with.
Yep.
So
Weird world. Well, I think we're thoroughly mixed. Mission
yeah.
accomplished. Oh. People keep saying it's your birthday, and I'm inclined not to believe them.
This is true. They should go to the back of the bus because
And
of that. They know that they belong there. Also, vape, I did not go back after that. Uh, it's true. No. They're out of control. They do this everywhere. I can't stop them.
yeah.
They know. They know.
Great. Well, we've approached the second half of the show. Would you like to take this thing for a spin?
Yeah.
So you can pop out of it.
So I kind of went back into your streams. And I went back to the green tilted.
I deny everything.
And I deny everything. I want tilted. So the first version of tilts, level 81.
Yeah.
So what was the thing that can spawn randomly and like just end your game? What was that?
I think it's the second video, I think, in the tilted playlist that captures it. So it's just, you know how there's the 3 crescents?
Yeah.
Well, there used to be just a crescent, just one with no walls. It was just like a last ditch save you in a crescent kind of piece. But when you hit level 80, Pixel didn't check the little box for surface collision. So marbles didn't touch. There was no surface of the tile for the marbles to roll on. They just fell through the tile. So the only way you could beat level 80 is if it spawned with no single crescent tiles on it. Senshin, I think, had 4 level 80s, and I had 3, or he had 5 and I had 4. He was not able to beat any of the ones he got, and I was only able to beat 1 of the ones I got. So technically, I was the only one to ever see level 81.
Do you think now that you've experienced new tilts, could you navigate like around it?
Well, we actually did experimentations. So once I hit level 80, or once I beat level 80, we played around with it, like a couple marbles at a time. Like, is there a way you can flick marbles over it, or is there a wall you can kind of jump across? There was nothing. It's the same thing. Like, so back then, you probably saw also the shortcut chance when tracks cut over them. But now, Pixel has it programmed that there's always 1 tile space between 2 consecutive turns. So you can't jump that gap. Even if there's like 2 stairs, 1 tile, and 2 more stairs, it's still not enough to jump because the 1 tile gap is too wide. And it's the same problem there. Is the marbles fall too fast to make it over that distance.
So you don't think you could navigate the marbles past that?
No, it's not physically possible.
That's bad.
But I can also say the tiles back then were so much easier, but we didn't have anything figured out. That was kind of the thing, right? So people might go back and watch that.
Like I played the next version of that.
Yeah.
I maybe like 5 times or something.
Yeah. So people might watch it back and be like, why was this so hard? It's like, well, it was 10 levels per difficulty, not 8, not 7, not 5. And no one knew anything. You couldn't go ask Shen, how do you do stairs into drawbridge tile? There was, I don't know, figure it out and let me know, because I would love to know. Like, there was a tile called the volcano, and it had 2 walls in the front, and it was just a hoop with a little divot in the middle, and it was fine unless you needed to get into like a sliding bridge or something very small on the other side of it, because there was no control over the spread. So it took us like 3 seasons to figure out how you get across volcano tiles without your spread just killing everyone. And
Yeah.
then you get to a high enough difficulty, the volcanoes lose walls. And as it turns out, there's actually a very good path about 1/4 of the way in on the tile where you can kind of just coast and keep tapping side correction, and the marbles will just go straight past the volcano. But
Oh.
when you're at those levels, it's not like you can just test it. Like, you've spent 6 hours getting up to level 70.
Yeah.
The last thing you want to do is throw your run because you want to fool around with the volcanoes a little bit. So it takes pathfinders to sacrifice their runs to experiment on these things.
Yeah.
Before we knew how to do these kind of stuff. So it would be much easier now, but that's just because we've been working on it for so long. We know now.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that makes sense. What for your gear? How did your gear start back in the day? Like, what have you improved? What's the like thing that you think is like the sketchiest part of your stream right now or back then? Like, do you have anything weird?
At this point, I think I'm mostly focused on production quality, trying to get better with my editing and stuff like that. There are some hurdles there. Like, I would love to do much better posters and things, but in order to make it worth investing in, I would need to be like a full jump, like get actual art software, get a pad and stylus, and like you're talking like $1,000 investment to go the next level up, because doing stuff with a mouse on a slightly better software isn't going to get me much further than MS Paint gets me right now. So like
Oh, you're on Paint.
I like Paint because I like having control over each individual pixel, because especially when it comes to like resizing stuff for emotes and things like that, I like having it exactly how I need it to be. So each of my emotes, each of my badges, all that stuff is done in Paint 1 pixel at a time, so I know it's exactly what I want it to be.
Wow.
So,
That's
yeah. But
impressive.
there's the one software, what is it? Can't remember. It's somewhere. It's a freeware version of Paint Shop essentially.
Yeah, I think I had it. I didn't like how it worked though.
Yeah,
Like, I found it hard to use.
well, that's because most of them are built for like a pad and stylus instead of a mouse and keyboard, and that's again the hurdle there. So
I like Adobe Spark. That's a website, and it says you only can like take off the watermark once, but you can take it off as many times as you want. But it's more user friendly, and you can get like stock images, and it does layering, and it gives you like formatting options.
Right. Yeah, so there's a couple things I can't do in Paint that I'll use other software for, but
Yeah,
I
that's crazy.
don't really feel like it's worth putting in too much more effort at the moment until we just go full upgrade. So that's kind of the thing that's on my mind right now. The computer I've had since I was working the computer repair job, which was 12 years ago, I think.
Wow.
10 to 12 years ago. But it's that constant replacing thing. So actually just recently, it was like 4 months ago, I had to upgrade the motherboard. So that's always a big one, because then you have to get a new processor and new memory on top of it. But swapping out hard drives, swapping out video cards, upgrading things one piece at a time. So it's always evolving as far as that goes. I was able to get the Logitech C22 pretty much right away. So I've always had a good enough camera. Now I'm using the C25, which it just has a better resolution. So it does 1080 a lot better. It's still not like awesome quality, and I have a camera in mind for doing much better stuff, which is part of my upgrade kit as well. So that's just all in the production value. So get an actual camera, get an actual art pad and stylus with art software, and like That's the next thing is production value, for sure.
So when you started, you didn't have like you bought your gear, like had a good mic.
I had a headset when I was doing it casually, but what I did is I was basically producing a podcast for a friend. Um, he had some really interesting people that he wanted to do some like mind expanding interviews with, and he liked that I had experience doing editing and everything like that. So that was kind of like my first dive. So the microphone I'm using now is the Bad Axe, and it's a
Mm.
really nice vocal microphone. I wouldn't use it
Yeah.
for too many other things, but as far as capturing a voice, it does pretty well. And so the mic and the pop filters and the stands and everything I was able to get kind of as like payment for the job. It's like we'll get it for the podcast and then you can keep it because I'm not going to use I can't use it when I'm not with you because I don't know how to do all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
So
Right.
that was kind of like my payment. So I was fortunate that I was able to get some decent quality stuff pretty early on as payment
Yeah.
for producing a podcast. So
I had like my Razer Keo camera, which is good. I have my Rode, which
ooh.
it is like I got it for YouTube. So it has battery, like it's plugged in,
Mm-hmm.
but so I have to constantly charge my batteries. um, which is but it has good quality. I kind of want a more like a super audio mic, like with an arm. That's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm going next.
I want one that can
I
be mixed, like one that comes with its own equalizing software, because I really want
mm,
to have like my own settings and things that I can hotkey and stuff like that. I can do it
yeah.
digitally, but it doesn't really work, at least with this microphone. So
Mm,
that'd probably be what I would be looking for to upgrade. I would like want an actual studio mixing microphone.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. I had the big like box lighting before,
Mm-hmm.
and I'd have one big one there, and then I'd have like lamps on the ground,
Mm.
like just desk lamps to
Okay.
try and get light on the green screen.
Yes. Yes.
But
That's
one
always
of
the
them
trick.
had a like a yellow like it wasn't like a white light, it was like a yellow light.
Mm-hmm.
So then my skin would look pink. That
Mm.
was a big issue trying to combat that. But now I have these like
Those are the ones I want. Yes. I want
yeah,
those. Those are good.
I got three of them for they were on sale for like $300. I got them like a couple months ago. And then my green screen, which you can see, is the only thing that I'm consistently not. I have not upgraded this. It's a piece of cloth,
Yeah.
and it's attached to coat hangers with clamps
Hey,
holding. The
once it
but
works, it works.
yeah, it works pretty well.
Mm-hmm. It's looking
Which I've heard
looking good
that
on my
like you
feed. So.
can't. People have said like you can't use fabric for green screens. You
Well,
can as long as there's light. Like there's
yeah,
like wrinkles on it too, but there's so much
yeah.
light it doesn't matter.
You just need to work on it. You just put enough time into it, both just manually and digitally. You can make it work.
Mm, that's it. Using what you got.
There, I have to do a little finagling because this is actually a full like 225 green or 255 green, but
Mm.
my lighting's usually more on the blue spectrum, so it always comes out teal um, on my
Ah,
camera.
yes.
So there's a lot of blue and green colors I can't wear. So it's definitely restricted, and unfortunately like green is like my color. So most of the things I would normally wear I can't wear. So
Oh
I have an
no,
entire
that's
like
hard.
costume quality stockpile of cheap vests and shirts that I wear that are cooperative with the green screen.
Yeah, I have like it's pretty good. Like this is green, but it's not
Yeah, it's
taking up.
more
Foods
yellow.
usually don't. Um, it is very like shade specific for me, which is lucky. That's not how it started.
Hmm.
Absolutely. And like when at my old lighting, it would like my hair color wouldn't look the right color. So if I had blue hair, it would look purple. And it's like,
Hmm.
and I had like a channel point redemption where you could pick what hair color So then I'd dye it that color, and then they'd be like, it doesn't look like that. Then I'd have to post on Instagram, like, I swear my hair is this color. Like, I didn't do the naughty. I'm good.
No, I hear you.
Why did you dye your beard?
I don't have a choice in these
red?
matters. It's not up to me. These things are forced upon me.
Okay.
For both of the Zenshikations, me and Z, we kind of like need therapeutic breaks from reality. So we like chip in and we get an Airbnb and we just like zone out on the couch watching anime all day and like
Perfect.
actually sleep. Like we actually sleep. It's nice. So
yeah.
The last 2 times we've done that, she's elected to not just pick a color to dye my beard, but then dye my beard. So that's a thing.
And what about? Someone wanted to know about your nail color.
I just did them today, actually. This is Russian navy blue, so it's almost like an iridescent purple with a little blue.
Oh yeah,
blue. It's pretty nice. I like this color. I ran out of my straight blue. The straight blue I had was called Get Paid. It was my favorite blue. I ran out of it. So I have to try to get more or something equivalent.
Yeah.
But I think I got nice nails. Actually, I had to file them today because they were getting too long. But
yeah, you do.
They're good shape. Right. They hold up when I'm not doing too much manual labor.
Yeah.
Back when I was a produce worker, I was a produce manager, so I was there every morning putting in the orders and receiving the orders. And a big part of that, you get the broccolis packed in ice in waxed cardboard boxes, which, as you can imagine, is just a mess in addition to the mud that's already still on the broccoli. So we have to like get not too hot water into a sink and then dump the boxes into the sink and rinse off the broccoli and melt the ice and then put the ice into put the broccoli into totes. And when you take nail polish and you have it at whatever the outdoor temperature is, 12 degrees or 90 degrees, and then you have to like dig through ice, and then you're in water, and then you dry your hands, and then you're in room temperature, that nothing's gonna hold. The temperature flux alone, in addition to the water, it just pulls it right off your fingers. I think the most I ever had nail polish last while I was doing that was like 4 days. So it was like my record before I had to take it off. So
have you tried like gel nail polish before?
I'm currently being encouraged to convert to gel polish. I do a gel top coat, which I do like, but I have an issue for me at least. The whatever happens, I don't know what it is, but mine peels easily. Like it comes up easily, especially on the front edge. So
I would say that's probably the nail polish.
Maybe. Well, more fodder to the conversion, I guess.
There's this YouTuber called Simply Nailogical. There we go. And she has her.
I have several products.
Several. That's. Ooh, what one?
We have the smoothing base coat, peeling base coat, gel top coat. I got her one coat black because I need a good black polish, and I have the orange cat one.
Xyler. Menchie?
No, Xyler.
Yeah. I saw her overnight oats that she's promoting, and I maybe almost spent $50 on that, and then we found out that I could not ship it to myself. And
awesome.
Yeah, so instead I spent $5 and got the stuff to make it at home by myself.
There you go.
But I tried. It's like, what's the least responsible thing I can do right now? I've never bought anything from like any YouTuber, and then I saw the oats and I was like, I want these.
Fair enough.
That's good.
Cool.
Yeah. Do you still play World of Warcraft in your? Oh no, why haven't you played World of Warcraft?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only one I haven't played.
Psych.
because
Psych.
I know what will happen. I've played enough Diablo, I've played enough StarCraft, I've played enough Warcraft. I know what will happen. Actually, so the closest I got to World of Warcraft would be Rust. I went heavy on Rust when it first came out in beta, and I probably
Yeah.
spent 2 years in Rust, just like going at it. And
I
yeah,
hated World of Warcraft.
really,
Yeah. I hated that I so like when I play games, I like to kind of like experience them like, oh, go over here,
hmm
like do this, and I like there being like a plot. Like with
right,
Diablo, like the first and second one, anyways, you go to that section, then this section, then
right,
this section, then you get the boss of that. Like there's a story. There's
correct,
with
yeah,
World of Warcraft, it's like, no, go over here and just grind some points, and then you can go over here. And like there's little mini things where there is eventually a story, but
right,
there's not a set like go here and then you can find out more if you go here.
right,
Like
right,
that progression of a story, it's just go wherever you want. I
right.
like I don't want to go wherever. I want to be able to walk wherever I want to go. I want
Right.
to go wherever I want in that sense, but I want to know like to progress to the next point, I have to do this set
hmm
amount of stuff. And
I
so
think
I played.
the big part of that, I think, though, is because it is that MMO format. So you kind of need to have everyone in the same zone, call it what you will, for as far as the
Mm,
server is concerned. Because like with Diablo
yeah,
3, right, you have people on different levels and different areas of each level, and like you can be pretty isolated. So you might not always
mm,
know who all is on, which
yeah,
works for that game. But with something like Warcraft or World of Warcraft, you kind of want to make sure everyone is all just there doing whatever.
yeah.
So it's just that kind of experience. I could see not
It is.
being akin to that.
Yeah. What are your, because this game's been popular lately, your thoughts on chess?
Chess.
Chess.
Backs hit this button. I think 2 or 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago, Backs hit this
Oh,
button. I'm not a fan. I'm not a fan.
I'm not a fan either.
It's
I'm
all
very
memorization.
opinionated.
And
Exactly.
to be fair, that is it is strategy, because you could say the same thing about StarCraft, right? Is knowing what counters what is just memorization, and then your strategies are all playing on top of that. Um,
Mm.
but I think the variance there is that StarCraft still has a human element in it, right?
Yeah, like there's
So
a skill element.
you could be out meted and still win because you have superior micro, or you could
Mm.
have worse micro but still win because you have superior meta. Whereas with chess specifically, it literally is just whoever makes the most mistakes,
Yeah,
which
or who
does not appeal to
diverts.
me. I do not like games that are like, if you're perfect, nothing happens, and the only excitement is when you make a mistake and then you lose. It's like, okay, so the only way I can contribute to this game is by fucking up. Like that doesn't have an appeal to me. I don't have an appeal to that.
Yeah. I did you ever play the like mini games in StarCraft?
Oh yeah, I've done everything. I did
Because that was
StarCraft
where I
2. I did
thought.
the Lost Viking, which is a nod to the actual Lost Viking, which was the very first Blizzard game that was released for SNES, I think.
Like, did you play like the hide and seek, tag, tower defense? Like that's
Yes,
what I
I
mean.
I
Yeah,
love the
yeah.
tower defenses, and the one, I think, the squadron defense, SD squadron defense,
Mm,
because instead of towers, it was like units that you put in a lane, and then you could upgrade the units and get different combinations of units. That was one of my favorites to
yeah.
do. And then
They have
Nexus
like
Wars, where 3 players on each team and you send your waves of armies to counter each other. That one's
yeah,
really interesting. If it's a well done one, right? That's the trick, is you got to find the well done ones.
yeah. The because they're still running, right?
Yeah,
So that's I went into that. Less people are playing those, so you kind of end
correct.
up stuck, or you have people who've played it for like since day one, and they're just way too good. Like
Yeah.
you can't win.
Yeah.
But and I like team tug of war.
Yep.
That's
Those are
another
good.
like that was good. There was one that I couldn't find where I remember like you try to survive and you're just one person
Yeah,
and you
I
have to
think
like
the
run
original of
around.
that was you were Raynor as a Marine, but that was the original version, and then I think
Yeah,
there's thousands of different versions of that now. But yeah,
yeah,
there were
it
a couple
went.
good ones of that. What I like with StarCraft though, Blizzard
Mm,
as a company even, is that they really incorporated that into the actual game. So when they went from StarCraft to StarCraft 2, each of the missions in StarCraft 2 were basically nods to the minigames. And then
yeah,
once StarCraft 2 came out, more minigames were developed, and then the second and third expansion for StarCraft 2 were nods to those minigames. So
yeah,
there's one of the Raynor missions in the Protoss expansion. You're a battle cruiser and you have to go through the map as a battle cruiser, and you can release fighter drones and you have power ups and you can level up your thing,
mm,
which was like straight out of one of the mini games that someone had created. It was cool to see that they just straight up made a level of that in the actual
yeah.
campaign. And
I
then you
found
have the
like you could tell, and it was same with Diablo. You could tell that the people making the decisions actually played the game.
right,
Like they weren't just like, oh, here the game is done. Like
mm,
the people who enjoyed the game
right,
were
and
actually giving input on it,
they did the
which I
same
think really
thing in the with the Protoss extra missions for the Terran campaign when you could be
mm,
Zeratul going through all the old shrines, and then for the Zerg campaign when you could ally with either the ghosts or the specters, and you got to
yeah,
like just play as like little hero units while other things. And there was one of the specter missions is actually a tug of war. Is you
yeah,
have automated units being pushed through the wave, and then your hero unit has to destroy fortifications so that your tug of war can go further up. So it's really cool seeing why Blizzard is such a good company, because that's how they actually care about the games they release.
yeah. It's funny going back to Sims, but they now they because they've had some questionable releases, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
but now they're actually getting like the top streamers and the top YouTube people to actually and top CC like custom content creators to actually
Mm-hmm.
get involved
Right.
with the game. Like they're hiring them.
Yeah.
They're like, you say our houses suck, well, you build it then. Like I
It's like,
think,
okay, great. That's just what I've
yeah,
been waiting for.
yeah, thank you, finally. So I think it's good when companies realize that the game is bigger than what they intended it to be, or like
Correct.
I like
There's
people like you, they're gonna play games how they're not intended.
Yeah. It's
And
successful because of the community around it, not because of the game itself.
yeah,
Unless you're Nintendo, then it is the game itself.
Nintendo has I love Nintendo, but it has like a lore to it even,
Mm-hmm.
you know?
Yeah.
Got like I don't even really play on my Switch, but I had to have it.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
games too
Mm-hmm.
expensive though. I can't.
I love watching every new breakthrough Mario. Like ever since
Mm,
Mario 64, I was like, they don't stop. They have Mario 64, and then they have Mario Sunshine, and then they have Mario Galaxy, and they had New Donk
yeah,
City, and now they got 3D Mario coming out. Like every time, it's amazing. I don't know how they do
yeah.
it.
I remember I applied, this was like 2 years ago. I applied to work at EB Games and they're like, what's your like favorite platform? And I was like, definitely Nintendo, like talking about all that. They're like, yeah, so that's not gonna work for us because we sell Call of Duty the most here and Xbox
PC
360. It's like
games.
I was like I'm like I said PC, they're like, no, like that's not gonna work. No,
Mm.
you're not. This isn't right. I was like, I could try Call of Duty. They're like, nah, no. I was like, so because I like PC and Nintendo, I can't work here.
Yep.
Like, like okay,
Good
that's
stuff.
fine.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Wonder how many of those are still in business.
They're quite popular here, actually.
Are they really?
Yeah, there's one in like every shopping center.
I
And they also have another like store, like a section where they have like clothing and apparel.
Yeah, I
Like
think it
just
originally,
that.
the EB was the original, which was Electronics Boutique, and it was kind of
Mm,
like a Brookstone kind of a thing.
yeah.
So I think that's how they started, and then they realized that other companies were doing well just selling video games, so they made an EB Games to do the video game competition. We used to have
Mm,
a lot here, but I here in America at least, I haven't really seen much in EB anymore. It's pretty much all just
yeah,
GameStop at this point.
they're everywhere. Like
Hmm.
everywhere. And
This,
they have like the standard like games consoles, and then the inside is like merch essentially for games. But then they have another store. I forget what it's called. It's like uh pop culture or something like that.
mm,
And in that one, they have like literally like a wall of those like Fuko pops, and they have like it's all merch for games,
mm,
pop culture. Harry Potter's in there too, but like, and I think because of that, that's driven them to be successful, even though a lot less people would be buying the games there.
right.
I think that they do, and they have things. They have a giant Pokeball for $150 right now. I'm
Oh,
so it's a Pokeball
tempting.
bean bag chair. Oh, I saw it. I took a photo. I was like joking, like, "Hey, this is really cool, right?"
Just make it a
Just for
stream goal.
like,
Just make it a stream goal. 150 for Pokemon Bean Chair. Make it happen.
hmm, yeah, just like, hey,
Good stuff.
this is a really good idea. Like, just like get rid of this chair, sit on the ground with totally worth it, worth it.
Cool. Um,
Yeah,
well, I got like one or two more questions. What do you got left over in your neck of the woods
you
here?
go, you go.
All right. We we're in fairly different time zones. I think it's fair to say. Um,
Yeah.
I think your day just started. Mine is getting to a point of ending. Um, how have you encountered your own like circadian rhythm with streaming, and I assume you've moved across time zones from time to time and stuff
Yeah.
like that. So, like, how's your journey been in finding what your circadian rhythm is?
I stream. It depends. So I changed my time for streaming based off your daylight saving. So
Wow.
Queensland, where I live, the Queensland, we don't do that daylight saving. We're
As
just
well you
one
shouldn't.
time.
As well you shouldn't.
Yeah. So I used to start at 10 a.m. and I'd finish 10 to 5. But now 11 to 6. But I've also realized that length at the end of that, I kind of fade. So I've kind of shortened my streams
Mm-hmm,
just
mm-hmm.
like casually a little bit because I get tired, I get
Yep.
sleepy,
Yep.
and then I'm just like, not 16 more. But then other days I try and start a bit early. Like I've done 180 races twice. Both those times I've started early,
Mm.
but because of that, it's very much like at the latest I wake up at 9. But now I start work at 8, so now I'm gonna have to be waking up at like 6:37.
Hooray.
Hooray!
Welcome to the club.
Yes, I'm gonna see the darkness and then the light
Mm-hmm.
now. So that's um
Yeah.
I've been trying to I woke up at 7 today. Like I'm trying to wake up, slowly
Mm-hmm.
ease into it for tomorrow.
I would say that was the most miserable part of being produce manager is delivery was 5 a.m. So, and I was
Mm.
walking to and from work at that point in time. So
Yeah.
I was literally getting up at like 4:15, just get everything ready in the morning as quickly as possible, and then walk for 20 minutes to work at like 4:30 in the dark, and like in the winter, and that was in Colorado at that point in the time, so there was usually like snow and ice on the ground, and it's literally just like walking through the frozen tundra at 4:30 in the morning. 5 days a week, and you're like, I can't keep doing this. This is this is not how modern society has evolved me.
In like a laundry, and it wasn't even bad. It was like 6 a.m. But
Hmm.
where I lived, and I lived on the mountain.
Mm.
The hotel I worked was on the mountain, so I'd have to put on all my snow gear, and
Yep.
it'd be pitch black, walking through the snow down the path that was created just from people always walking to
Yep.
work,
Packed
and just
ice.
like walking
Always
just
good.
like in the dark, like is this even safe? Like, is this real? Like,
Yeah,
there's like
exactly.
snow
Exactly.
everywhere. Like, what?
Just walking through the frozen tundra at 4 o'clock in
Yeah,
the morning. Like, what is this?
yeah.
What
Like,
reality am I in?
like, is this so? Is this safe even? Like, what? Like,
Probably
what's
not.
going on? Then you like, you do it every day, and then you like take off all the layers
Yep.
because it's always obnoxiously warm
Oh yeah.
anywhere
Oh yeah.
in winter,
And
which is the worst for
I don't
housekeeping.
know if it's true for you, but it's true for me. Like anytime I go outside when it's cold, the moment I
Mm.
go inside, my body like overheats. Like the
Oh
internal
yeah,
furnace is just on. Like I could be in jeans, I could be in like shorts and a t-shirt with the room temperature at like 65, and I'd be like, "Could we turn the air conditioning on or something? Like I'm dying in here." Like
like
so.
this. What I get a lot here is how cold it is
Mm,
when I go inside, and that shock, like,
yes.
so like with all the aircon, I like if I'm going shopping for groceries,
You have to
I
bundle
bring
up.
a sweater.
Yeah.
Yeah, I bring a
That's
sweater. It can be because the AC is always pumping and people love it, but
yeah.
I get cold
The
so fast.
the
I'm like I
equivalent
can't do
of
it.
that here is in Houston, because Houston is
Mm,
essentially the swamp of the Gulf. So it is just always boiling and always 100% humidity. So you are
yeah,
literally in refrigerators anytime you go into a store or an office building or anything. So,
yeah. I did a road trip across America in the summer,
mm,
and I found a lot of cold times in grocery stores.
yep.
It's pretty,
My cat
a
has
pretty
just woken from her
consistent thing.
slumber. She's going to demand attention and a drink. So there may be a guest appearance in a moment. Oh, there she
Oh,
is.
awesome. Love it.
Anyway. Yeah, so circadian rhythms. Um, I'm definitely a night person for sure.
Mm,
Evolutionarily, I think it's very much that like guardian aspect. Because like if I have guests over or something, I can't
mm,
fall asleep until I know everyone else is asleep. And
mm,
I've had a couple opportunities where like I don't have to keep a regular schedule, and I usually
mm,
get to that point where I fall asleep as the sun's coming up, and that's just like my
mm.
comfortable time to fall asleep.
Yeah.
So
I prefer to stay up, but I just know I can't.
yeah,
I
so
can't maintain it.
it's
I
it's brutal living in this 9 to 5 world.
yeah, that's it. Gotta be awake when you gotta be awake.
Yep.
I find like moving from Canada, like the flight and the times. So flying from here to Canada,
Hmm.
it's fine because you leave and arrive at the same day
You're
at the
like
same time.
traveling with the sun essentially.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you're like you're trapped. You're trapped in time. So like you have your breakfast, you eat, you sleep, you wake up, you have or dinner, whatever. But you have a full day on the plane. It's
Hmm.
14 hours, but it seems like a full day, and then you get back and you're fine. But when you come back,
Hmm.
it's like you leave at night and you come back at like 6 a.m. So you have to go about your full day, and that sense of jet lag, like your mind just shuts down.
Hmm.
Like it's like you've had a concussion, honestly. That's the best way I can describe it because you just can't form
All right.
sentences anymore. That is,
Because like you get a you could do like a full night's sleep, but then you're still on the plane for another 8 hours. And then when you land, your day is just starting. You're like, wait, haven't I already been awake for 8 hours? What do you mean we're just starting? Like, the
and
day's
like
half over. What are you talking about?
the way here is 15 hours. The way to Canada is 14.
Mm.
It's because of the airflow. So it's longer. It's longer. It's more
Yeah.
painful, and it's just yeah.
I'm not envious. I'll say that. I'm not envious.
Yeah. It's well, they give you free alcohol. That's fine.
Oh, there you go. That's always good.
Yeah, you get something.
Anything you want to wrap up this stream with? We've sort of covered a good spectrum already. Anything to round it out at the end here?
Oh, yes. Oh, okay. This is kind of deep.
Good. I like going deep.
What do you think about Marvel? Popularity and longevity. And do you think would you go to another game?
Are we
And what would
so
that
are we
look like?
talking just the game, or are we talking the community?
Could be both. Like the game, let's say one day the game just not it's going down, we're done. We spent enough money, or it could be like the popularity of the game, like people aren't drawn to it anymore. Either of those things could happen. Or do you think that'll never happen?
I think Marbles is in a good spot now because it's been restructured to favor creativity, which is going to capture a much broader audience. There's not going to be a thing that's more successful with Marbles, but there's going to be so many pockets of Marbles that people can fall into that it'll get to a point where almost anyone can get into. Hello, cat. Almost anyone can get into Marbles because there'll be an avenue that someone can find that they like and just go down that with whatever streamers are doing those kinds of things.
So you see it as a renewable resource.
Yeah. I think the only way Marbles dies is if a superior stream interactive game takes it over. And that's either going to have to be an extremely lucky combination of variables or a much more aggressive and established studio decides it's worth investing in. I don't think the failure of Marbles would happen on Pixel's watch. So that's the only way I see the game dying, is if like a AAA studio just like, we're going to invest $50 million into this concept and make an awesome stream interactive game, and boom. And this is Sadie. Sadie's here. Hello. Say hello to everyone. She's trying. Would you like to say hello to everyone? There you go. The camera's over that way though. She's
like, but you're
soon
here.
to be she's soon to be 19. So she doesn't know where she is half the time. Mostly deaf, partial kidney failure, missing teeth, the works. Do you want to look that way? Look that way.
See your face.
You don't want to look that way. She will literally just sit here and just zone out. But yeah, so I don't think Marbles is going anywhere, and I think supporting the creative avenues is going to increase its popularity. And the only way I see it dying is if some giant studio decides to try to take it on. So
yeah,
where I am right now, I'm fine with it. If I get to a large enough channel growth that I need to start exploring my musical and theatrical avenues more, I will have to put Marbles as not the primary. But there she is. This is her actual normal default position. We have matching emotes actually to fit, because that's what she looks like on camera most of the time. It's just the eyes peeking over the frame. Hello. Yes, great. She's very content now. So yeah, that's my stance. I don't think it's going anywhere. I think we're going to see some growth with the creative support, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere unless something takes it over, which is not going to be easy.
Yeah. Near impossible, I would say.
I don't say it's impossible. Because if you keep in mind, marbles is technically still niche, right?
Mm.
Like, as awesome as it is that we have over 1 million people playing every season now,
Yeah.
in video game numbers, that's substantial, but it's not a lot,
Yeah.
right? So you like imagine the creators of Fortnite decide to make a stream interactive game. Like, just on the hype alone, they could
Yeah.
easily outnumber marbles, and there could be carryover. But
Mm-hmm.
it could also work the other way too, right? Is maybe a studio doesn't do as good of a job as marbles, but makes it more popular, and now people are looking for more stream interactive games, and then they find marbles, right? So it could work in the other direction.
Yeah, it could almost be like free advertising.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think marbles is in a good spot.
Yeah.
Yes, if you want to invest in some marble coins, now's the time. Now is the time.
Yeah.
Cool. Well,
Yeah, cool.
my name is Vic. I think we did it.
Yeah, I think
We've
so.
reached conclusion. GG's. Well done, everyone. Thank you for being here. It's been a lovely conversation. Got to talk about all sorts of nice things. Anything you would like to promote? A weekly occurrence of yours, perhaps, on Sundays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Yeah, so that has changed.
Oh!
So we don't know what day it's going to be. We're going to have to figure that out. I'm going to get my roster like sometime this week. But first day of work is tomorrow. So today, we are doing the Biggest Loser. Nice. So it is a weekly occurrence. I give away subs. If you're subbed, I give away $5. Some people decide they don't want the money, like, and he just passes that down or picks someone to get sub. It's some good times. It's
sounds like a way to get.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then it's also fun getting to focus on the last marble.
Yes.
You know, and the precision it takes, which I know you understand with your 1 hour tracks, seeing the precise, the skill, the slowness. Also, if you've had a bad week and you've been last every day, you get to come first by being last.
You get a little extra camera time.
Yeah.
So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Well, thank you again. We will continue with a little bit of Q&A with chat, but only live here on Twitch. So if you're watching this on the YouTube portion of the video, it's going to be over for you. You got to catch us live if you want to be part of the Q&A. Thank you again. My name's Vic for being here. It's been delightful, and we'll see you all next time.